Hi, my name is Susan Fielder. I live in San Diego and I've been doing art for about 11 years, more than I ever did, as a result of something I'll share in a moment. But all of the pieces of art I do become my friends. This guy's called Tidy Boy, and he's just a little guy you can talk to every day. Make sure you make your bed. I love to do faces and I love to do it on metal. So as you see, you can just hang it on the wall. And it's a small piece and he's got a personality. So every piece of art I do has a name and a reason for being there. And I love to play with words. And that's one of the foundations of things that I've done in the past. And so behind me, I'd like to introduce you to iPlaid. The very first piece I did was a plaid. And if you'll notice, there are two eyes, and the eyes are really reminiscent of cancer and eyes looking out for a cure. Because the saddest part of my life has been losing my husband after 30 years together to pancreatic cancer. And we thought he'd be the poster boy. But the first piece I did after he passed was a plaid. And I did it on the iPad, and I decided to name it iPlaid in memoriam to Steve Jobs. And I'd like to explain the significance of this piece. If you'll notice the lines, the baby blue lines are the blue sky at the end of the tunnel. The purple lines, which are going straight down, that's the actual color of pancreatic cancer. The red is the sense of urgency. The neon yellow is the ray of hope for a cure. My journey really started with art maybe 25 years ago. My first piece was one that kind of mimicked Hundertwasser, and that was really starting to peel back the onion for me. This is another piece. I do wearables as well, and shoes and socks and leggings and art on canvas, on metal, on umbrellas, on rugs and mugs and cell phones. So we're pretty ubiquitous in the promotional products world because for 35 years, that's what my career was. I had my own company in the last 35 years, and it was a wonderful opportunity. I got involved with pharma. I helped two first billion-dollar drugs for San Diego launch their products. One was for AIDS. It was called Viracept, and the second was Rituxan for non-Hodgkin's lymphoma. It started out as IDEC and then turned into Biogen IDEC. And I'm pleased to say I'm dear friends with the past CEO of Biogen IDEC and his wife. And my mother's sister got involved with that drug in a test, in a clinical trial in Palm Desert, unbeknownst to any of us. And she's now 95. It saved her life. And it was fast 18 years ago. So, Rituxan has been unbelievable, as many more of the Biogen IDEC drugs are. So that really gives me heart and soul about just doing things that do make a difference and telling the story about it. And that gives me another opportunity to share a book that I wrote called My Living Legacy. My Living Legacy. It's right here. And this is my own personal copy. So I have notes in it. I'm always writing in it. But this is a book that is a gift for all your loved ones. It is probably the best book you'll ever write. And it leaves all your wishes and hopes and dreams and things the way you want them to be, and people the way you want them to see you in your own legacy. It's a workbook. It's a fill in the blanks. It's available on mylivinglegacy.life. I really think it should be on everybody's bedside table so that when they feel like writing something, notes to and about others, or how they wish to be remembered, or do they want to be buried? Do they want to be cremated? Do they want to donate their body? All those things are in this book. So it's nothing financial, it's everything emotional. So I urge everyone to try this. As a matter of fact, it is used now at UCSD, University of San Diego, California, as their planned giving gift for the York Group. And I'm pleased to say the Chancellor, Pradeep Khoshla, encouraged me to finish my last edition. And I did, and he uses it. And I've had high raves, and I'm thrilled about that because it validates how important this document ends up being in your family's hands upon your departure of this lovely, wonderful place we live. Lastly, I also coined the phrase funeral because I do believe everyone should go to their own funeral. It's spelled the same way. And why not? Everyone says, oh, she would have loved this, or oh, he should have been there, and he would have loved to be there. So funerals are a new way of looking at being there yourself and saying goodbye to all your friends and just show up. So that's my new way of looking at a funeral. The challenges I've had after creating probably 300 images are A, which ones do I put online? B, how do I market them? And C, how do I get over this hurdle with social media being so difficult and ever changing with the technological wizardry that now AI offers? So there's really a lot to learn, and I am trying my hardest to learn it through my tech people who have been wonderful. But again, it just takes a while to find your way in this world. And I do have a cause that's near and dear to my heart, and that's helping the researchers to fund their research through art. So art and science work hand in hand in my mind. And that's where iPlaid has a story, as do the many other images. If you can see back here, you'll notice that we have, gosh, I've got 20 up here. Ruth Bader Ginsburg, she died of pancreatic cancer. It's called RBG. Willie Garris, who was on Sex and the City. This is called The Train to Somewhere. This is Fancy Free for Cindy's mom. Jack Benny, he kept us in stitches. This is Whirlywoo, a dear friend in Switzerland who passed away 4 months before my husband was diagnosed, and we were friends for 45 years. It just has no boundaries. Michael Landon, Little House on the Prairie. This is Sally Ride. Sally Ride was a graduate at UCSD, the first female astronaut, and space was her place. And that's her piece. This is called Fuel Cells, Pebble the Future. That was done for my husband. He was known as the Steve Jobs of nuclear power. A brilliant man that had a belief in pebbles that would be inside the core of the reactor, which are now being produced 10 years after he passed, but we're thrilled about that. So this signifies TRISO fuel cells. Luciana Pavarotti, Notes to Music. Here's Steve Jobs for iPlaid. Going down here, we have Patrick Swayze, the Dancing Man. Aretha Franklin, we call that respect. Dizzy Gillespie, yes, Dizzy Gillespie, we all loved him. This is called Cheek to Cheek. This is a piece for my old boss at Jack Nadell. It's called Holy Moly. He was a big teddy bear. This is Alex Trebek, who was the most well-known, lost just about the same journey that my husband had, 15, 17 months. And I sent this piece to his wife. It's called What Is. And down here we have Smiro, that was done for a friend of mine, Salah Hassan's son, Roland, who died right after my husband died. This is Gnarly Man for a man that had a car dealership here in San Diego. This is Count Basie, the Blessed Man. Donna Reed. Donna Reed was the belle of the ball to me. She was so well known, TV, movies, The Christmas Story with Jimmy Stewart, and her middle name was Belle. So I call her the belle of the ball. And lastly, we have Randy Pausch, who was the young professor at Carnegie Mellon who died of pancreatic cancer way too early. At 48 years old, he wrote a book called The Last Lecture, and I call this piece The Last Lecturer, Randy Pausch. So that gives you an idea of some of my thoughts of what I've been doing with my art. It's very meaningful to me to be able to tell the story and to let people know that there are many things you can do to make sure that you check your CA19-9 levels and make sure it isn't sitting in your system. It was in my husband's system for a year before we even knew. It is a silent killer. I'm on my way to tell that story and to hopefully encourage everyone to look at the art and get back to me with ideas, because I'm not going to stop, and I'm eager to make a difference in this very unique way of doing art. That's my challenge, is how do I continue to do this and make a difference? It needs supporters like you, or people that are helping with ideas. I just want to share that I do cell phone covers. And I like the ones that are the heavy duty. And I can do the iPlaid. This is called Hooray, one eye down, one to go. This is called Core. But just to let you know, these are all the other things you can do on it. This is canvas. This is acrylic. This is metal. These are my samples I take around. And also pillows, towels. I can do rugs, but they're really fun and colorful. I put them all over my house, and they're my friends. So let's talk about making friends with your art. Let's talk about letting your art go. Oh my gosh, it's really hard to say goodbye to your friends, and you know we're going to a good place. So originals on mysusanfielder.com are quite a bit pricey, but it's because I don't want to really sell them. I just got an offer on one that is, it's called the Town Square. And this is acrylic and it's framed. And I love it. See the little town square in the middle? And this is a Hundertwasser kind of takeoff. He loved to do layers. So you can kind of see, if you ever look at his art, you will absolutely love it. Another piece I wanted to show. This is called Bleeding Town. I don't know if you can see it. I actually have this piece, but more in the greens. Hundertwasser would take images and change them with the coloring. Now that we are offered in a lot of the apps that we have, you can do different sepia tones or different backgrounds, edgy ones. It's just amazing what you can do, and you can do a series of those. And I'm just thrilled that we can all use the technological opportunities that these apps offer us. And one is Procreate. Procreate allows us to even do a slow mo, which is what they call, giving you a 10-second, 15-second show of how you do your art, of which we'll also put on this video to show you, because it really shows you the process in your mind of how it goes. And you might come back and take it off and erase it, but I use a large 9x12 iPad, and I also use the pencil, of course. I used to do it with my fingers, but now I use the pencil. You can get a lot more ornate with lines, but it's just a blast. So play and talk about it and keep learning, and know that you're not alone, because we're all learning and it's ever changing. One of my favorite projects in San Diego, besides my art, was coming up with a reflection area at UCSD, which we'll put a picture on so you can see. But there are over 400 bodies that are donated to UCSD annually. And they are the first bodies that their students that are practicing medicine will ever be able to discover. So my husband donated his body. And when I went to the first event to celebrate those families that were there and the bodies of their loved ones donated, I thought to myself, gosh, where can we go to reflect and to find, solace and get energy? And so I thought to myself, I'm going to put an idea together. And I was sharing it with the chancellor at UCSD, and he loved the idea. He said, put something in writing. And I encouraged it to be something overlooking the ocean, maybe overlooking, the big cliffs where the university is, And lo and behold, I gave him the proposal. I asked him, please put this in the right hands, and he did. And it now, 8 years later, is there. And it's like these 3 big rocks that are cut in 2 with this extrusion that goes through it. It's like the souls and the energy of these people is flowing into the ocean, into the skies, into the heavens. It's really magical. And yes, it does find closure. So that's something I'm really, really proud of. Recently, one of my husband's clients came over from Japan. He's the president of NGK Insulators. Dan worked with him to bring the first backup battery system to Ohio many years ago. He never forgot about Dan, and I guess it's something in the Japanese culture, to find closure with someone who passed and to visit their gravesite. And I said, well, Dan doesn't have a gravesite. He donated his body for science. He said, I'd still like to come over. I explained about the donor body donation program, and he flew over recently, and I took him there. And it was just so powerful for them to be there. That was really something very special that I did and I'm grateful for doing. For instance, I'm really empowered by an artist named Friedrich Stowhauser. He's better known as 100 Wasser. It means 100 waters. He's from Vienna. He died in 2000, and he was very unique and creative. He drew lines. He drew like you were peeling back an onion. And then there was another layer, and he kept going on and on and on. And I was so taken with him, I just decided that he was going to be my inspiration for doing art. And the first exhibition I went to was when I was living in Switzerland, living in Zurich in 1972. I went to an exhibition for Juan Miro. And oh my gosh, it was the second most powerful exhibition I've ever gone to. So I have a Miro, Calder, Picasso, Vladimir Cora, Hundertwasser type of feel to my art. It's whimsical. The names tell their story, and I just absolutely feel it pouring out of me when I either start an acrylic piece or I start a piece that's digital and I give it to a lab. And I have most of them produced on metal, which is what you just saw on Tidy Boy. As long as you can do what you love and love what you do, you're golden. The pressure is over. The world is going to be there if you're here or not. And happiness is an inside job. So find the happiness within yourself. Stick with it. Work on it when you can and find the joy. I really enjoyed this, and I'll look forward to doing more and learning more about people that are following me. So please go to SusanFielder.com and Susan Fielder Art on Instagram. iPlaid.org is how you find more about iPlaid and the other products, like wearables, like what I have on. And I'll look forward to hearing from you. Thank you.